let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever made a budget, felt amazing about it for exactly 3 days, and then completely abandoned it by day 4? Yeah, you're not alone. And here's the thing, I really want you to hear today. That's not your fault. That is a problem with the advice itself. We live in a world absolutely drowning in budgeting advice. There are thousands of books, apps, YouTube videos, including this one, let's be honest, all telling you to track every dollar, cut the coffee, meal prep on Sundays, and somehow transform into a financially disciplined superhuman. And yet, according to a survey by the National Endowment for Financial Education, around 2/3 of Americans don't follow a budget at all. 2/3. So either the majority of people are just lazy and irresponsible, or the budgeting advice we've all been handed has some serious flaws in it. I'm going with option 2. And today, I want to break down exactly why and what actually works instead. Okay, let's start with the advice you've probably heard more than any other. The 50-30-20 rule. Spend 50% of your income on needs, 30% on wants, and save 20%. Clean simple, right? On paper, absolutely. In real life, it falls apart pretty fast. Think about someone living in New York City or San Francisco. Rent alone can swallow 50% of a paycheck without touching groceries, utilities, or transportation. According to Harvard's Joint Center for Housing Studies, nearly half of all American renters are what they call cost-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their income just on housing. So if you're already over the limit on housing before you've bought a single avocado, this rule doesn't just fail to help. It actually makes you feel like you're doing something wrong when you're really just living in an expensive zip code. The 50-30-20 rule was designed for an average that, for a lot of people, simply doesn't exist. Here's another big one. Most budgeting advice treats money management like a willpower competition. Like if you just try hard enough, if you just have enough self-discipline, you'll stop spending on things you enjoy and start saving like a champion. But behavioral economists, people who study why humans actually make financial decisions, have found something really interesting. Willpower is finite. It depletes. Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler, who literally wrote the book on behavioral economics, showed that people consistently make worse financial decisions when they're mentally tired, stressed, or emotionally overwhelmed. And guess what? Most people managing tight budgets are all 3 of those things on a regular basis. Budgeting systems built on sheer willpower are like diets built on never being hungry. They don't last because they're fighting human nature instead of working with it. And then there's the tracking obsession. So many popular budgeting methods tell you to log every single transaction, every coffee, every parking meter, every random $2.99 app you forgot you subscribed to. And while awareness of your spending is genuinely important, I'm not dismissing that. The research tells us something uncomfortable. A study published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that hyper-detailed tracking can actually increase financial anxiety without improving financial outcomes. Why? Because when every small purchase feels like a confession, people start avoiding the process altogether. You stop opening the app. You stop looking at the spreadsheet. And suddenly, you're more stressed about money than you were before you started budgeting. More information isn't always better if it's making you want to look away. So here's the core issue underneath all of this. Most budgeting advice is built on a one-size-fits-all model. It assumes that everyone has the same income pattern, a regular paycheck arriving every 2 weeks like clockwork. It assumes your expenses are predictable. It assumes you have some cushion to start with. But that's just not reality for a huge portion of the population. Freelancers, gig workers, small business owners, people with variable hours. According to the Federal Reserve, roughly 36% of American adults have income that fluctuates month to month. If your income is irregular, a fixed monthly budget doesn't just fail, it actively confuses you. You're trying to follow a map for a city you're not in. So what does work? A few things, and I'll tell you right now, none of them are magic. The first shift is moving from restriction-based budgeting to intention-based spending. Instead of building a budget around what you can't spend, you start by deciding what you actually want your money to do. What are you working toward? A house, a trip, getting out of debt, retirement? When your budget is connected to a real goal that you care about, it stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like a plan. That psychological shift is massive. The second thing that genuinely works is automation. Instead of relying on yourself to remember to save, you set it up so the saving happens before you ever see the money. This is called paying yourself first, and it's one of the few personal finance concepts backed by decades of solid evidence. When you automate your savings, on the day your paycheck lands, your brain never registers that money as available to spend. It's already gone, in the best possible way. Fidelity Investments reported that people who automate their retirement contributions save significantly more on average than those who make manual contributions, even when income levels are similar. And third, give yourself permission to not track every dollar. Seriously, pick 2 or 3 categories where you know you tend to overspend. Maybe it's dining out, maybe it's online shopping, and pay attention there. You don't need to audit your entire financial life every week. You need to understand where your money leaks and plug those specific holes. That's sustainable. That's something you'll actually keep doing 3 months from now. Look, the reason so many people feel like failures at budgeting isn't because they lack discipline. It's because they've been handed tools that weren't built for their actual life. A budget that ignores your real income, your real expenses, your real psychology. That budget isn't going to save you. What will save you is building a system that fits how you actually live, not how a financial textbook imagines you live. And the best part? Once you stop forcing yourself into a system that doesn't fit, managing money starts to feel a lot less like a chore and a lot more like something you're actually in control of. That feeling right there, that's worth more than any spreadsheet. If this hit home for you, do me a favor and drop a comment below telling me which budgeting rule you've tried and ditched. I genuinely want to know. And if you want the next video in this series, where we actually build a flexible spending system from scratch, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I'll see you in the next one.